still looking into updates into the Nancy Guthrie case and keeping on top of just what's in the headlines at the minute. And I thought I will read a few out for you today. And also an update on Human and just a few updates on each case that I've covered so far, which would be a bit to cover, but it's an hour I can put into it, and I don't mind if you share or if you take what you want from it, because
Nancy Guthrie's door were released by investigators who have been trying for more than a week to find her. It's believed the 84-year-old mother of NBC Today show host Savannah Guthrie was kidnapped from her Tucson home between 1:47. Her doorbell camera. Now, investigators say after working with what it called its private sector partners, they were able to recover these images from the Nest camera. In the images, the masked person messing with the doorbell camera has what looks like a possible gun. The images were released a day after a ransom deadline came and went with no sign of where Nancy Guthrie might be. Savannah Guthrie, her daughter, is now appealing to the public.
Good afternoon, and I don't know how much this is true or not, but the FBI Director KASH PATEL reveals a lapse in the Guthrie case so far and blasts the local authorities, according to Hindu Times, right? 4 months following the vanishing of Nancy Guthrie, the suspect has been identified, and the FBI KASH PATEL informed News Nation in an exclusive interview in decision and utilising the FBI assistant authorities back that the Guthries was kidnapped from her residence in Arizona before being reported missing on, I don't believe it, February 1st, 2020.
Thank you. Very difficult years, whether it's
kidnapping. In Nation, Natalie Patel stated that the agency has been involved since the very first day, supporting an investigation. Well, they've not done much, have they? Up to now, I haven't been concerning the disappearance of 84-year-old TV anchor's mother of Savannah Guthrie. We been offered our assistance.
On the steps of the Royal Courts of Justice, he had been
concerns emerged regarding the Tremor County Sheriff. One issue raised the manner in which the department managed the evidence, particularly in the decision on sending DNA evidence to a laboratory instead of a public one. We offered our assistance to go test, and it's up to them. They chose to use a private. Noted that when the local authorities leveraged the expertise of the FBI, significant outcomes, referencing images of the obtained from the camera for his residence. What the FBI is great at, what did when finally had access to the Ring doorbell camera, for example, we went to our partners at Google and we said, hey, you know that there wasn't a paid subscription service, but let's go look at data and see. So he continues, weaker evidence, he said. I've even visited Tucson office where we had 150 agents and analysts working on the Nancy Guthrie race to provide intelligence. Earlier during the appearance on Sean Hatley's podcast last month, Patel had claimed Sheriff Chris Nanos tried to keep Responding to Patel's remarks, a spokesman for the Sheriff Department had said, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is aware of the FBI Patel's recent interview and statements. Sheriff Nanos responded to the scene at the night of the incident, providing immediate leadership and oversight. The spokesperson continued, a member of the FBI task force was also notified at the scene. The FBI was prompted to notify by both the Guthrie family. While the FBI director was not on the scene, retired Modesto Department Detective John, I'm going to mess this up, Buhiller, who worked on the Lacey Patterson case, recently spoke on news station on Brian Enton, right? Say that again. John Buhler, who worked on the Lacey Patterson case, recently spoke on News Nation, Brian Enton, who has been closely following the Nancy case. From the start, Buhler suggested the case could still be cracked, noting that there are newer cars have tracking capabilities as one way. If somebody ever plugged their address into a Google search for Google Maps or whatever, if they did a reverse keyword search on that, because those records are maintained for a period of time, to see any random person that would have typed in her address that had a reason to do it, and then you'd contact that person and find out why they put her address in, explained, which was a very good point. Nancy, 84, today's Savannah Guthrie's mother, has been 1st of February. Okay. Didn't know the date. The police believed it from her home. Okay. Well, alive, I don't know. Investigators have released the doorbell camera footage of the masked suspect and sent DNA for testing at the Quantico. I thought the thing was done privately. So what does that mean? You know, the FBI saying that it's been done privately on the recent updates, and this is only like DNA testing in the FBI lab have been named. I'm starting to think he's in this place. I don't know, it just seems so suspicious that they say it's a kidnapping and then say, you know, the DNA, where it's getting done. Is it getting done at the FBI lab or is it getting done privately? Which one is it? You know? So anyway, we pointed out that the car tracking could eliminate or target those with legitimate reasons for travelling to Nancy's address, such as delivery drivers, like other criminal experts have said, you know. He theorised that the local tradesperson or service worker would have been behind the alleged abduction once they released Nancy, related to a wealthy television personality like Savannah Guthrie. Any tradespeople, Nail, I am very sorry, I can't even look at it. Any trade people that may were doing plumbing, work repair or electrical repairs, anybody who was delivering furniture, anything that came up where somebody could see her as a source of ransom because of the connection of only Savannah. We had a random murder that went 11 years unsolved, and it's only because that one person that could give us the information was afraid to come forward, and it took 11 years for that fear. He also said that the investigators might already have had a tip that could break the case. It's just a matter of timing. When tips come in on a case like Nancy Guthries, they've prioritised as best as they can, but you still don't know for sure if they've, he stated, and so there might be something in there that we're waiting on and open. And the comments are as well in this one. News of Nancy Guthrie is turning into a clickbait. It is. This could be related. There was a bone found near the area of Nancy's home. The Yahoo article. Although new pieces of evidence continue to surface daily, none of them provide any credible leads, leaving investigators and the public puzzled. The uncertainty has fueled several theories, including the possibility that the Guthrie family was Guthrie was. In May of 2026, an RJ Drilling revealed that he supports this theory, pointing to many ransom letters. There's a friend of like Susanna's that after her as well, and it'd be hard for them to come without that was that close. The lack of follow through on any ransom demand makes it look like it was at the show-off investigations, he said. This is someone intelligent to completely hide their tracks, including DNA, fingerprints and electronic data, but also deranged enough to kidnap this woman out of her home and hold her hostage, likely. Derailing then the Drew parallels between Free Case and Jodie Foster, what the hell? A situation in which attempted assassin President to impress the actress. He suggested an alleged assailant could similarly someone who is methodical in their preparation but has a motive that makes no rational. Why did you do that? This point weeks ago as well that they've got an enormous catalogue of intersections to study the neighbourhood, security systems across the neighbourhood, the Ring doorbell camera, that's what we have. It still looks female in the eyes to him. Video out there. It gives a few things away, yeah. And as explains, maybe it's all the white trucks are over here. All the red sedans are over here. You've got to have it so that when you do find a suspect, hey, the suspect is John Doe, we've got him. Now we go and say, well, John Doe. He's saying, the process, he says, is methodical. Build the digital map first, then the work backwards. Once investigators have someone in which to compare. Oh, he drives a white truck. Were there any white trucks in the area at that time? Nano continues. Oh, John Doe. Phone number. And then you back up to those pieces of evidence that you gathered early on. Up your case. He's not saying the person, saying for example, And no, and I think his links are here where that the person has left a digital footprint. He's picked them up. Oh gosh, they had the same truck. You know what was caught on camera, and then you know it's a number thing. Make sure the number. At the same time, investigators continue to wait on advances in DNA analysis that could prove critical in the case. I know we have, this is 2 weeks ago, I know we have DNA that is unknown. Who the contributor or depositor is, but I think they're getting closer to finding out us. Now, doesn't sound that way because the FBI is saying something completely different. They're saying that they've took it upon themselves to DNA out themselves or a stand. Okay, when all the labs tell us, hey, there's nothing else we can do, well then, maybe we've got a problem, we've got a cold case, but right now the labs aren't telling us that. But recently they just have, you know, I've just read you the up-to-date version of KASH PATEL's statement today that he's worked with them. He's looked into what is needed. He took DNA analysis, but was if they would get private DNA analysis. I'm not sure where that private falls into, you know. Nah, I've got stuff today,
Eggs.
Authorities, yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
Morbid.
Okay. Authorities investigate the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie in Arizona are turning it, including files and anti-footage, DNA and tips. Right now I'm thinking of our focus, and it's on the tips and the leads and the evidence we have in front of us. He says digitally camera footage as well as the biological and the DNA, all those. If they've got DNA of an unknown person, who is that unknown person? And clearly it could be the suspect.
The search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie, and I spoke to a close family friend of the Guthries as this agonizing search for her drags on. Sally Shamrell has known Savannah for 30 years, working in the TV news business together in Tucson, and Sally helped organize a candlelight prayer service for the Tucson community to lift up the family and pray for Nancy's safe return.
Well, you know, Savannah posted, she wants everyone to say a prayer, everyone to consider, putting it out in the universe. If you don't necessarily pray, like, let's bring Nancy home. And so I just woke up yesterday and thought, gosh, how can we get together, be one community, one voice in one spot, and send those prayers up together. And I know that, the Guthrie kids who are, so missing their dear, dear mother. I mean, she is everything to them. You know, of course, they are hunkering down and just doing their own prayers. But I just hope if they see this and they see that the whole community's come together, they will know that, they're not alone.
Nancy and Savannah have both contributed so much to the Tucson community. She told me Nancy worked at the University of Arizona. Savannah attended the U of A. She anchored in Tucson for many years. And so Sally says as soon as they put the call out, people came out saying, what do you need? We'll volunteer. We'll put some candles together. Some people haven't even seen Savannah in some 20 years, but they said, what do you need? I'll be there. The FBI. But Brian Enton did. While Sally Shamrell was busy organizing public candlelight vigils for Nancy Guthrie, acting the part of the heartbroken best friend, Brian Enton discovered a sickening reality. Internal investigative sources have leaked that at the exact hours these vigils were being planned, Sally Shamrell was sending encrypted, high-priority messages at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Who was Sally Shamrow messaging while the world was praying for Nancy Guthrie? These messages weren't about finding Nancy Guthrie. They were about silencing anyone who knew about the stolen fortune. Sally Shamrow wasn't crying for Nancy Guthrie. She was managing a cover-up in real time. This timeline of deception is what broke the case open. It proves that Sally Shamrow was never looking for Nancy Guthrie. She was looking for a way to stay one step ahead of the FBI. This wasn't just Sally Shamrow acting alone. Brian Enton's reporting, combined with leaked witness statements, suggests that Sally Shamrow's own sons were the ones moving the physical evidence. Sally Shamrow's sons were the ones tasked with cleaning the scene and moving the package, or the evidence, to prevent discovery by local authorities. By involving her sons, Sally Shamrow created a deadly bond of silence. She knew that if she could drag her sons into the conspiracy, they would never talk. The trusted friend weaponized her own family to protect the secret of what happened to Nancy Guthrie. If Sally Shamrow goes down, her sons go down with her. This is why Sally Shamrow will do anything, even kill, to keep the truth about Nancy Guthrie buried. The trusted friend has turned her own children into accomplices in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Brian Enton has been tracking a document known as the Black Ledger. This is the smoking gun. This ledger proves that Nancy Guthrie finally realized she was being robbed by Sally Shamrow just days before she went missing. Nancy Guthrie had set up a trap. She had secretly documented every cent Sally Shamrow had stolen. Nancy Guthrie was planning to confront Sally Shamrow on the very day she disappeared. But Sally Shamrow struck first. Sally Shamrow thought she had destroyed the Black Ledger, thinking it was gone forever. But she didn't know that Brian Enton had already recovered digital backups of Nancy Guthrie's final financial instructions. These instructions directly accuse Sally Shamrow of fraud. Sally Shamrow is now in a panic because she knows that the very evidence she thought she burned is in the hands of federal agents. As we record this, Sally Shamrow's high-priced lawyers are in court, trying to stop Brian Enton from releasing more documents. They are filing emergency motions, trying to censor the truth. Why is Sally Shamrow so terrified? Because the FBI has officially moved Sally Shamrow from witness to lead suspect. Sources close to the investigation say that Sally Shamrow is crumbling, and the walls are closing in on her and her sons. Trusted friend has been seen trying to sell assets and clear out her accounts, which is a classic sign of someone planning to flee. The truth about Nancy Guthrie is finally about to explode, and Sally Shamrow knows that she is running out of time. Every day that passes, the net tightens around Sally Shamrow. She isn't just a trusted friend anymore. She is the face of this investigation, and she knows the end is near. The evidence against Sally Shamrow is undeniable. She thought she was the smartest person in the room, but Brian Enton has exposed the rot at the heart of her story. Now you have to decide, is Sally Shamrow the ultimate mastermind who sacrificed Nancy Guthrie for greed, or is Sally Shamrow just a pawn in a much larger, darker syndicate that is now coming for her? Type mastermind or pawn in the comments right now. I am reading every single theory to feature in the next update. Subscribe now to stay protected and get the truth.
What made you give up your TV career in Tucson, pack your bags, move to LA, and just pursue your career in acting?
You know, you get a little bored, I guess.
Of news?
Well,
I can see that, yeah.
in this size town,
Yeah.
as we both know, it's the rodeo parade again. You mark your years that you've been in this market by how many rodeo parades you've been in. Not that, I mean, it's a wonderful event,
Yeah.
but it's just, I just wasn't, I guess, really
You weren't
thrilled
challenged
or
anymore.
challenged.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted to anchor, even anchoring gets like, okay, here we go again. And is it going to be getting up at 2:30 a.m.? Probably.
Yeah. Missing holidays? Yes.
Probably. Yeah. So, I guess I was at a point in my life where I just wanted something different and new and challenging. And
But
so,
acting, how did that come about?
well, do you remember Frank Field? He was one of my co-anchors.
Yes.
Yeah. We went
He's
to
an
breakfast.
author now, yeah.
Yeah, we went to breakfast at the old Mother Hubbard's on Oracle and Grant. And he said, well, what else would you want to do besides reporting? And I said, well, I always wanted to be an actress when I was little. And he said, why don't you become an actress? And I said, yeah. And he said twice, why don't you become an actress? And I just was at a point in my life where if something comes at you twice, somebody's trying to give you a word.
So it
Thank
began to
you.
manifest.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
And so I just started doing some research and had a former KVOA colleague was out there working for E. Remember E News was so big before? And, he said maybe he could get me a job out there, like a real job. It was nice to have news as a background for a day job while you're waiting for the phone to ring with auditions or bookings or whatever. So I ended up working at KBC TV and KTLA just as a writer, because that market's big enough that they just need people to write copy and put it out.
So when was that first time that phone actually rang? And what role was it, in a commercial or in a soap opera?
Actually, I got into soaps really quickly, which was fantastic. And the casting director really liked me. You're not supposed to be in a soap more than once every 6 months. If you're in the under 5, with the soap operas, they called it an under 5 role, 5 lines or less. And this gal she was wonderful. She really liked me and called me into Young and the Restless every 3 months. And I was always a medical in the hospital.
What made
Welcome back to Tucson Now. Here at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, we are set to welcome our next live guest. Sally, if you can hear me, give a big thumbs up and I'll be able to introduce you. Fantastic. Please help us to welcome a U of A alumni and a hometown now writer and director. This is so exciting to be able to have you here. Sally Shamrell, choir practice writer and director. That is a SAG feature film that we are diving into here because the first showing sold out. Now, because of all of the sold out aspects, you have to have a second showing. We're so excited to have you here. Thanks for being.
Thank you so much, Devin, for having me. It's just fun to talk to local media. I used to work as a TV journalist in this town 20 years ago. And that's how I met one of my friends who was a Tucson police officer. And he brought me this idea for the feature film of an unconventional Catholic priest. A real priest who's now in Green Valley. His name is Father Mike Martinez. And he hunts, he fishes. He plays our cartel boss. And I wanted the cartel boss truly to be have Mexican American heritage, because so many actors, people lump Latinos and they could be from Colombia or Puerto Rico or Latin America. And I thought, no, the cartel boss, if he's going to be a Mexican cartel guy, he needs to have Mexican American heritage. And so Danny was just one of those guys that popped up. And, everybody still works these days. And so we just had to negotiate his salary to get him. But John Proudstar, I always knew was from Tucson. He's the one who's in Reservation Dogs. He was just able to announce that he's in the new Ethan Hawke series on FX called The Lowdown. In fact, he had to miss the premiere.
Culmination of every chapter prior, right? All of your prior selves coming together to be able to understand every aspect of this, and then going above and beyond that, and now learning the fundraising side of it. And speaking of, the Arizona film tax incentives that you were talking about, it's new. So choir practice is going to be one of those films that are in film history books as, hey, this is one of the first ones, right?
Yeah, to qualify.
Exactly, yeah, to qualify. That's incredibly exciting. And again, it is...
You can shoot pines in one day, and you can shoot saguaro cactus in another, and then, or the Mule Mountains of Bisbee. There's just so much landscape diversity, cool old buildings. So my next film is about the 1981 bank robbery that happened here in Tucson. And there's so many classic architectural buildings that still exist. And my heart is pounding because it's like, I want to get this film shot before someone decides to demolish.
Where, and we can kind of do an interactive thing.
acquired a lot of filmmaking toys. And so we do want it to screen in theaters, like I said, for Arizona residents. And so I guess I would just like people to either, follow us on social. We have Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then also we have a website, choirpracticemovie.com. And we will just try and keep everybody abreast of
actually seeing it.